Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Torres. Today we're going to be talking about mental skills, specifically visualization, and how to do it and how to stay in the game when things don't go your way. It's a very important skill to practice on a regular basis. And stay till the end of the video because I'm going to be talking about also an additional mental skill that's really core at having high performance in sports. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, first let's define what mental skills training and visualization are. Mental skills are abilities that we all have that we can train to improve our performance. Some examples of mental skills include self-talk, growth mindset, and visualization. All right, so visualization is when we use our imagination to rehearse and train special skills or techniques and even our responses to situations in our mind. And it's really interesting because there's been lots of research about meditation and visualization and imagery and how it affects the average person and athletes. And one of the most sort of shocking bits of research that I'm aware of that took college students, I believe, and they divided them up into a couple of groups. One group, the students were going to the gym and they had a routine to exercise for their biceps, their arms, to get them to grow. And then there was another group in the study that instead they went into the lab and they visualized for half an hour going to the gym and exercising and doing that same routine but in their minds. So the results of the study showed that the group that went to the gym, obviously their arms got bigger, but so did the arms of the folks that were going to the lab. So all those students that went, all those research participants that went to the lab, their arm size also increased by simply visualizing. There's other studies that show how our brain areas activate, the same exact brain areas activate when we are having or thinking about a particular thing. So for example, if you're thinking about playing a musical instrument in very good detail, very high detail, then the same exact areas of your brain will light up and be activated. Same thing is about if you're remembering something that gives you certain emotions such as joy and happiness, then if you remember that memory in really good detail, the same exact pathways in the brain will get activated and light up, giving you the same exact feeling or very, very similar feeling. This is something that I personally use with my counseling clients in helping them overcome depression, for example. However, this power of visualization can also go the other way, right? So people, for example, that have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, they have similar flashbacks and memories of a terrifying event. Well, guess what's happening in those flashbacks? They're remembering in vivid detail what happened to them, right? And they're re-experiencing that trauma, right? That terrifying trauma of near death. So their body's feeling the same exact emotions and physiological symptoms as if they were actually in the life-threatening event, even though they may be perfectly safe at home or in an office or something like that. So how this applies to sports is you can use visualization when you're injured, for example. If you can't play the sport, you can't train because you have an injury to your knee or you have an injury to your foot or anywhere else, then you can visualize, right? You can visualize yourself, playing the sport. You can visualize yourself training a particular drill or a particular weakness that you've been struggling with. You can visualize yourself doing it in your mind. Now, there's two main ways of visualizing. There's internal imagery and external imagery. So internal imagery is when you imagine yourself from a first person point of view or perspective. So you imagine yourself doing the maneuvers as you would see it through your eyes, right? Whereas external imagery, you would imagine yourself from a third person perspective, kind of like outside your body, looking at yourself from above or from from far away at yourself doing the technique, right? And you can do that in your mind. You can also do that by actually watching video footage of yourself and imagine yourself doing that. Or you can watch videos of other professionals, other high performers doing these, playing your sport and doing the things that you're wanting to improve, or doing the things that are difficult for you right now that you want to learn or improve. You can watch them and visualize yourself in their shoes, so to speak, right? And imagine yourself doing those maneuvers. So that's really powerful, because remember, our brains don't know the difference between what is actually happening and what we're remembering. It has basically a very similar experience as if we're remembering things and imagining things in very vivid detail. So we can use this to our advantage. Now, another important way that we can use visualization that doesn't have to do with us imagining ourselves and practicing doing certain techniques or maneuvers or whatnot from our sport is imagining different scenarios and situations where things don't go our way, there's bad calls, we get injured, something happens that's out of our control. So you can imagine yourself in that situation and imagine how you want to respond. You don't want to, respond to a referee's call. For example, Angel Valodia Matos in the Beijing Olympics in 2008, he was banned from the sport for life by World Taekwondo after kicking the referee in the head after his disqualification for taking too much time after an injury. So visualizing these situations can help you prepare for when they actually happen in real life, so that you don't respond in an unsportsmanlike way, or in a way that's going to get you disqualified from either the match or potentially from the game or the sport altogether. Olympic gold medalist Michael Phelps has talked about openly how visualization helped him become the most decorated Olympic athlete. He specifically used this technique of imagining what could happen, what he didn't want to happen, and what should happen to prepare him to not be fazed by whatever came up during competition. Okay, so here's the bonus mental skill to help you keep high performance. It's awareness, all right? It's simply knowing what you're thinking and what you're feeling at all times. Having limited awareness can lead to frustration and distress, and oftentimes errors, because of not knowing the why of your feelings or your thoughts. I'm planning on creating a video all about awareness and how we can increase it and improve it so we can enhance our performance in and out of the field. And hit that like button so that this video can get shared with others that might be interested in watching this content. Visualization is also known as imagery or mental skills. Okay, here's the bonus mental health. So stay tuned and hit that like button so this video can get shared